What's up, stock compounders? Brad here. So continuing our Charlie Munger Psychology of Human Misjudgment series, we're going to talk about the 20th cognitive bias today, drug-misinfluence tendency. So it's a very short section here from Poor Charlie's Almanack, but it's going to take us to another one of the cognitive biases. We're going to read a little bit there, and then we're going to jump into ChatGPT to finish things up here. So number 20, drug-misinfluence tendency. This tendency's destructive power is so widely known to be intense, with frequent tragic consequences for cognition and the outcome of life, that it needs no discussion here to supplement that previously given under simple, pain-avoiding psychological denial. So we're going to jump to that one. That's number 11. And the last paragraph of simple pain-avoiding psychological denial deals with drugs. Okay, so let's refresh ourselves on that. In chemical dependency, wherein morals usually break down horribly, addicted persons tend to believe that they remain in respectable condition, with respectable prospects. They thus display an extremely unrealistic denial of reality as they go deeper and deeper into deterioration. In my youth, Freudian remedies failed utterly in reversing chemical dependency, but nowadays Alcoholics Anonymous routinely achieves a 50% cure rate by causing several psychological tendencies to act together to counter addiction. And we're actually going to look at what some of those psychological tendencies are, this kind of Lollapalooza effect that Alcoholics Anonymous makes use of. However, the cure process is typically difficult and draining, and a 50% success rate implies a 50% failure rate. One should stay far away from any conduct at all likely to drift into chemical dependency. Even a small chance of suffering so great a damage should be avoided. Okay, so that's what Charlie Munger has to say on drug-misinfluence tendency. Let's get into what ChatGPT has to say. So I asked ChatGPT, I'm trying to move this out of the way. Define drug-misinfluence tendency. Provide examples of how it can mislead, along with antidotes for how to avoid being misled. Drug-misinfluence tendency is not a term explicitly defined in Poor Charlie's Almanack, but it appears to be a combination of two concepts discussed by Charlie. The first is the Lollapalooza effect, which occurs when multiple cognitive biases and tendencies converge to create an exceptionally strong force that leads to irrational behavior. We're going to talk about the Lollapalooza tendency or effect as number 25 in this series. The second concept is the influence of drugs, which can distort perception, impair decision-making, and lead to addictive behavior. In this context, drug-misinfluence tendency could refer to a situation where the negative effects of drugs are amplified by other cognitive biases and tendencies, leading to severely distorted perception, poor decision-making, and potentially disastrous consequences. So, examples of how this tendency can mislead. Overconfidence. Okay, people under the influence of drugs might overestimate their abilities and engage in risky behavior, such as driving while intoxicated. The antidote: recognize the impairing effects of drugs on cognitive abilities and avoid engaging in potentially dangerous activities while under the influence. Right? If you're going out drinking, you might very reasonably not drive. You might take an Uber there, and so you're kind of forced to do the same home. 2, confirmation bias. Drug users may seek out information that confirms their belief that drug use is harmless or even beneficial, while ignoring evidence to the contrary. Antidote: actively seek out and consider information from reliable sources that contradicts one's preconceived notions about drugs, and maintain a balanced perspective. Number 3, group think. People might engage in drug use due to peer pressure or to fit in with a particular social group. Antidote develop a strong sense of individuality and resist the urge to conform to group norms that promote harmful behavior. Surround yourself with positive influences and friends who share similar values and interests. Number 4, sunk cost fallacy. Drug users might continue using drugs to justify the time, money, and effort they have already invested in their own drug use, even if it's detrimental to their health and well-being. Antidote, acknowledge the sunk costs and make future decisions based on an objective evaluation of the potential benefits and harms, rather than attempting to justify past actions. Okay, there's something in here about consistency as well. If we've been heavy drug users in the past, we may be swayed to act in a consistent manner, right? That's another one of these cognitive biases. Availability heuristic. The prevalence of drug use in popular culture and media might lead people to believe that drug use is more common and less risky than it actually is. Antidote, research the actual prevalence and risks associated with drug use and be aware of the ways that media portrayals can distort reality. Okay? To avoid being misled, crucial to maintain a critical and objective mindset. Be aware of the cognitive biases and tendencies that can distort perception, and seek out reliable sources of information to inform decision making. So that's ChatGPT on drug-misinfluence tendency. I also asked it, because this was in the section that I read from Poor Charlie's Almanack, how does Alcoholics Anonymous utilize multiple psychological tendencies to counter addiction, right? In this kind of Lollapalooza effect that results in a 50% recovery rate, okay? Very high. AA is a worldwide organization that helps people recover from alcohol addiction through a 12-step program. It utilizes various psychological principles and tendencies to support individuals on their journey to sobriety. Here are some of the key ways AA leverages these concepts. Number 1, social support. AA meetings provide a supportive environment where individuals can share their experiences and feelings without judgment. This social support network is crucial for recovery as it helps to counter feelings of isolation and promotes a sense of belonging. Right, there's sort of a community aspect here. Number 2, peer modeling. In Alcoholics Anonymous, more experienced members act as role models for newcomers, demonstrating that recovery is possible. Right, these are people who have already been through this program to recover from alcohol addiction. By observing others' success in managing their addiction, participants can build self-efficacy and hope for their own recovery. Number 3, anonymity. The anonymous nature of AA allows individuals to be honest about their struggles without fear of stigma or negative consequences. This can facilitate open communication and self-reflection, which are important steps in the recovery process. So I assume this means when people go to AA, right, an AA meeting, people don't know their actual name, right? They're anonymous. 4, structure and routine. The 12-step program provides a structured framework for individuals to follow, which can help counter the chaos and unpredictability often associated with addiction. Regular attendance at meetings can also provide a sense of routine and stability. 5, goal setting. The 12 steps encourage participants to set achievable incremental goals for themselves. This helps individuals to focus on the present and the steps they can take to improve their lives, rather than becoming overwhelmed by the broader challenge of long-term recovery. Right? So it's really just one day at a time, putting one foot in front of the other. What can I do today to move in the direction of sobriety? Number 6, spiritual component. AA emphasizes the importance of a higher power or spiritual force in the recovery process. This can help individuals find a sense of purpose and meaning beyond their addiction, which can be a powerful motivator for change. Number 7, cognitive behavioral principles. The 12 steps incorporate elements of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which focuses on identifying and changing unhelpful thought patterns and behaviors. For example, participants are encouraged to take a personal inventory of their shortcomings, make amends for past wrongs, and develop healthy coping strategies. So there's some kind of rewiring that's done through AA. Or I should say AA. I don't know if anyone calls it AA. It's not a battery. And finally, number 8, personal responsibility. I said it again. AA emphasizes the importance of taking personal responsibility for one's actions and choices, which can empower individuals to take control of their lives and overcome their addiction. Okay. By leveraging these psychological tendencies, Alcoholics Anonymous provides a supportive environment and practical tools for individuals seeking to overcome alcohol addiction. This approach has proven to be effective for many people, although it's important to note that recovery is a highly individualized process, and what works for one person may not work for another. So, as Charlie Munger pointed out, you only get a 50% success rate here through Alcoholics Anonymous. Probably best not to mess with substances where only half the people can overcome that addiction. So wise words from Charlie Munger yet again. So there it is, guys. Drug-Misinfluence Tendency number 20. We are really on the final stretch now. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.